Hello everybody, it's me, Jen. So what do I have for you today? Well, it's Tuesday, so I have a film review for you. And what I've done a review on is this film, Tenet. It's a 2020 film written and directed by Christopher Nolan. On the back it says bold, epic and ingenious, spectacular. So I'll just read the little ferociously entertaining. I'll just read the little thing that it says on the back and then I can roughly tell you what I think what it's about. Armed with only one word, Tenet, and fighting for the survival of the entire world, the protagonist journeys through a twilight world of international espionage on a mission that will unfold into something beyond real time. That's all it says on the back, so it doesn't really say too much about the film. It has a few good actors in there. It's got Robert Pattinson, Kenneth Branagh, Michael Caine. The main lead is a guy called John David Washington. I haven't heard of him, but he's good. It's also got a British actor that was in one of the soaps, Himesh Patel. He was in EastEnders. But yeah, so that's the cast. Some of the cast anyway. So, how the film starts? Well, right at the very beginning, before it even comes up with Tenet, you see a big auditorium where people are coming in, like a big opera house. Everyone's sitting round and the orchestra starts to play and everything. And then all of a sudden, these men come in like with masks, shooting people. And then, I don't know why. I honestly didn't know why at the beginning of the film. And then armed men come in. I thought they were the police, but I don't think they are. I think it was something else, like FBI or CIA or whatever they were. And they came in to try and stop it. So they gas the whole opera house so everyone goes to sleep. But then obviously those with the guns that were shooting to start with put on these special masks so they don't get gas. So that way they can get in and stop them, shoot them, whatever, to try and stop it. And they're setting bombs in the theatre. So these people are trying to stop the bombs from going off. So when they've got them, they throw them at the top. But the last one of the people in there, the baddies, gets killed by someone that's not part of them. The others, I mean. So we don't know what that is. But then when the good guys get out of the opera house, the bombs that they threw up blow up the top of the opera house so it doesn't kill everybody that's in it, basically. But then that's the confusing part because then it skips to another part of a story. So I didn't know how it would link with the rest of the film because it goes to a bit where there's this guy tied to a chair between two train tracks, which I think is the main character. And I don't know if they're trying to torture him or what, or trying to get some info out of him, but he's not talking, he's tied. They're threatening to kill him and all this lot. And there's another guy laying on the floor, also tied to a chair, but obviously they must think he's dead. And somehow this guy sees what this other guy's doing with his hands, and he goes and gets something of him, and I think it's one of these like suicide pills. So he kills himself, I think. And then it sort of jumps forward with like this other character saying, "Oh, you're dead. You've killed yourself, but you're in the afterlife." And they tell him about one word, Tenet, and they explained things to him about how he has to stop something from happening, and it's really complicated. It is a very hard film to follow, hard to get into, very complex film. It might need 2 or 3 watches for you to fully understand it because it really plays with your brain. See, my brain is all like all over the place at the moment because I could understand some of it, but not all of it. So basically, he's in this group to do with the afterlife. I honestly don't know. It's also about something from the future that gets weapons of the future that gets into the wrong hands that can cause trouble for the past, i.e. the present, as in the film. And he's a CIA operative known as the protagonist who has to stop it, who has to stop what he thinks is going to be World War III because of these bombs or something that they're getting hold of. Something to do with plutonium and something to do with that. That he goes to India because there's this guy that it's something happening with, but he speaks to this, I think the wife of this Indian guy, and she tells him stuff about this guy who's getting things sent from the future, and these things are doing reverse things. So basically, like when you're shooting with a gun, instead of the bullet going, it's in reverse, it's coming back. I think they're calling it inverted, I think. So she tells them some stuff. And so then he goes back. So he follows this woman that is married to this Russian oligarch that the Indian lady told him about. And so, but the wife is like basically a prisoner of the husband. He controls her. He won't let her see her kid, only when he allows it. She can't do anything. And she thinks he's a drug trafficker an arms trafficker, sorry. That he's into all bad things. So he manages to meet up with her to find out what's what. And that's Kenneth Branagh, who plays the Russian oligarch. And so going to see Kat, his wife, he finds the oligarch's wife, that is, tries to find a way of finding out how he's getting this stuff and what he's going to do with it, because basically he wants to like use it for badness. And so as it goes on, a lot of things happen. You see them jump from time to time, like going back to the past where they already are, to try and stop something from happening in the future. But obviously you can't meet your own self in that way. So some things that happen early on in the film, you see happen again later on, because obviously they've gone back, and something that happened earlier in the film, you sort of think, oh, he's fighting this person. But then what it is he's actually fighting himself from the future without realising. So it all goes on. It's about reverse technology from the future, i.e. invertedness, that I mentioned, like bullets, etc., and all that lot. And as the film goes on and he gets to know Kat more, and he sort of tries to get to know the husband more and work out what he's doing, what's he trying to do and everything. The husband tries to kill his own wife because obviously he knows things that are going to happen before they happen, because obviously the future thing that I told you about. So what the protagonist does in the end, he has to go back to India to speak to this woman to find out what's the whole story. Now, what it was apparently someone from the future did something, and there was 9 nuclear bombs or something put out here, there, and everywhere in the world. And there's special algorithms or something that would detonate them all, basically, so it would end the world. And obviously this Russian guy was in the wrong place, well, not the wrong place at the right time, but he was just there when something happened, so he obviously knows about this, and that's what he wanted, because he wanted the plutonium, he wanted the power to end the world. He'd already said to his wife, because apparently we also found out later on he's dying, but he was always saying to his wife, if I can't have you, nobody can. So that's why he wants to kill her as well. So yeah, they find out that obviously all these nuclear bombs are linked to a fitness app that he has. So if he dies, something to do with the fitness app would trigger all of them, so they'll all go off. Basically, end of the world, blow the whole world up. So basically, he's going to kill himself. So he wanted to kill himself so he can end the whole world, kill everybody. And so basically, the protagonist has to stop him from doing that. But what he didn't realise what he'd done was he actually given him the last algorithm, which would have probably activated the 9th nuclear bomb. So basically, they've got to try and go back to try and stop it all, basically, and change the future again. So yeah, like I was saying, it is a very, very hard, it is a very brain confusing, very hard film to follow and to get into. Very, very complex, it is very written well. It is a good film. I could understand, like I said, I could understand a lot of it. In places it was very confusing, and like I said, it would probably take a good few watches for you to actually understand it, unless you could understand it in one sitting. I honestly don't know, because everyone's perspective on films could be different to mine. But yeah, I probably would need to watch this a few times. So yeah, I won't tell you what happens after, like, does he get to change the past to stop the future, and whatever happens to the Russian obligage or the wife or whatever, because that would ruin it for everyone. What I would suggest is, if this is your sort of film and you're as curious about it by what I've said, you should get it and watch it yourself. And like I said, it would probably take a couple of watches to actually understand it more. I understand it as much as I could, but like I said, it is still very, very confusing. A very confusing film. But it is, I'd say it was good. It did have me nearer the end watching it to a degree where I was like, oh, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? So yeah, it's not as if I got bored with it, turned it off halfway through and thought, oh, I'm not going to watch this one. So yeah, it is a film to definitely watch again and maybe see if I understand it more the second time. But yeah, it is very cleverly written by Christopher Nolan. Very good. He's written a few other films as well. What's he also written? The Dark Knight trilogy, Inception, that was quite an unusual one as well, and Dunkirk. So yeah, he's a good writer. So it's definitely one to keep, because obviously we're building up a collection, and it's definitely one that I would watch again, because like I said, I'd want to understand it a bit more. So if you've stayed with me to the end of this video, thank you for watching. If you like my video, please give me a thumbs up. If you'd like to subscribe to my channel, please feel free to do so. The more the merrier. And if you'd like to share my video to any of the other social media like Facebook, X, Instagram, please feel free to do so. And again, thank you for watching my video. All that's left for me to say now is bye for now. Catch you laters.